Sorry, give me a second. Oops. There we go. Oh yeah, muted. Hello. Thank you for telling me. Hello, Link. Yeah, my chat from last night is still here. It's fine. I'm not gonna refresh it. Let's see. Capture. Okay. So, let's talk about what we're doing today. So first of all, I need to install a new version of Firefox on this VM. I forgot to do that before a stream happened. Oops. So, let's talk about what we're doing today. So, earlier this week, I was notified that, apparently there is a ClickFix campaign targeting macOS. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I don't believe I've seen Infostealer targeting macOS before, specifically using the ClickFix campaign type of stuff. So what we're gonna do today, you might notice that we're in Windows. That's because I don't have a macOS testing environment for this. Don't worry, we're that just means yep, unfortunately no dynamic testing today, only static analysis. So it's a little unfortunate because I don't really know how I can properly set up a macOS environment at home. So let's let me bring up the tweet first. All right, well, what is this music? I'm gonna switch it to this. Why is store.rg? What? Why is that? What? Okay, whatever. Oh wait, wrong tweet. That's not the tweet I meant to open. It's this one. Yeah. So yeah, I was notified that there was apparently a ClickFix campaign going on targeting macOS, and the webpage is actually still up. So if we go there right now, you might notice that it's kind of funny. Their HTTP webpage is currently a open directory with nothing on it, but the actual page is on HTTPS. I don't know if it'll work if I don't change the user agent. Oh, you might also notice that it's meant to be set up with a domain. So if you check the certificate here, you'll see that it's supposed to be Cloudflare. Cloudflare. I just noticed it's missing the F. Cloudflare-index. I actually don't even think that's I think that's L, because it should be lowercase. So cloudflare-lindex.com. That's supposed to be where it is, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the DNS is properly set up yet. So I guess this might be a work in progress. I'm not sure. So you'll notice that depending on the version that you're on, that depends on the detected user agent. It'll show that there's the PowerShell version, and yeah, it's not properly set up. So, as you can see, this page is really not designed to be visited on a Windows machine. Like, it kind of is, but the attacker never bothered with setting up Windows payload. So, copy pasting just shows that. So what we need to do is we need to change our user agent. So that we appear as if we came from a macOS machine. Safari, macOS. So now if we refresh, you'll see that, hey, we now get a thing for macOS, which actually gives us the command we wanted. Let's take a look at the web page itself real quick, because there are some interesting stuff in here. I should have Codium installed, right? Yeah, I do. Okay, so you'll notice that yeah, that's the CSS. You will notice that please open this page on a Windows or macOS computer to proceed. So I assume they bought this as part of a phishing kit of some kind, where basically they sell you the template, and then you can use it to deploy whatever you wanted. So yeah, as you can see, there's a Mac instructions and a Windows instructions. Interestingly, there's none for Linux, given the fact that they went out of their way to do Mac OS. I thought they also do a Linux, but apparently not. And as you can see from the script, there are some Russian text in here. So it basically tells you this ClickFix campaign is probably developed and sold by a Russian developer. And yeah, as you can see, that's the command that you're supposed to paste in for macOS. Yeah, the Windows compatible command doesn't do anything. It just copies the Windows command text. And as you can see, every time that someone visits this page, it also queries the stats.php. And whenever someone clicks on the copy to clipboard, it'll also get recorded to stats.php. We know if we navigate to stats.php, it's probably not going to show anything. Yeah, it's basically just a fetch. That's basically just like a beacon to tell the hoster that, hey, someone's clicked on this thing, or someone's loaded this page. Okay, so now let's investigate the actual command itself. We can do that by using CyberChef. Normally, I need to add CyberChef to this VM at some point, because I going onto this website every time using the online version is not ideal. And the cyberchef.org one is also stuffed with ads. I'm not even sure if it's hosted by the same group of people that developed it. I mean, of course, I can just do it in PowerShell as well, but it's a little bit more involved. Actually, hang on. Oh, right, it's not a default. It's not a commandlet. That's something I wrote. Basically, to convert from base64, you have to write convert. You have to use the convert namespace and then call from base64 string. It's a whole ordeal. I can't believe it's not available by default in PowerShell. The reason why I'm getting CyberChef is just in case we have something else. Actually, don't I have CyberChef on my host? I do. Let's do this. Nope, wrong button. But yeah, as you can see, it's basically... so what it does is it echoes this base64 string and then calls base64 decode and then pipes it into bash. And what happens is it ends up actually calling curl to this URL. Now, I tested this before the stream. Apparently it's down now. It used to be up. Let's do -v. Yeah, it looks like the server is down right now. That's okay. I do have the original script downloaded, just in case the thing goes down. So this is the file that downloads. Okay. Before we continue, I need a restroom break real quick. I know we just started a stream, but still. I'll be right back. Music a little loud. Yeah, I just switched to a different OBS plugin. I might need to watch out for a volume a little bit more. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So, back to what I was saying. So this is what ended up downloading is AppleScript. So I was actually not familiar with AppleScript before this. I'm still not really. There is a language syntax highlighter for AppleScript, but I'll be honest, after looking at it, I still don't really understand. Like, what is the syntax? Well, set the message to make new outgoing message with properties. What does that mean? Okay, so assume what I need to do is on that and return, and I assume that's like this. Like, I did take a look at what these could mean before the stream, but I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing this correctly. So I think it's supposed to be like this. I think that's how a function is written in AppleScript. Do shell script set Why isn't the end try being highlighted? That? Set to read. I don't know what's with all this extra returns. And then end try. And then return that by default. And then end. I think that's... yeah. I'm not sure why the end is not being syntax highlighted. I think that's supposed to be how AppleScript's supposed to look. Let's see if we can get rid of all of these. Then we do try, like try /n. Set as string, return and try. Or return that. do this. Let's unescape all of the strings. Oh no, wait, that's not what I meant. And try. Is this how people wrote scripts on Apple machines? Because this looks like a nightmare of a syntax. I think VB is bad. This looks worse. I think that's supposed to be a different line. Do shell script cat. Where's the if? If. Return false. We're gonna have to rename each of these functions later as well. So I actually have told LLM to do this for me, but I think it'd be better if we try to do this ourselves first and then compare it to the output of the LLM. It said no, it actually did it quite reasonably well actually. I'll show you the results in a little bit. Set to list folder without invisibles. Wow, this is a very literal language, isn't it? Repeat with, so like this is a for loop. Wow, this is the worst for loop I've ever seen. As in, like, what is the syntax? Holy shit. If then else no, that's supposed to be in line with that end. Yeah, sorry, if and if and repeat and try and return not found. And if thank you for follow. And hammer, hello. Return on error. Okay, we need to get rid of these double quotes. Oh, actually no, I can't just do that. Return not found. Why is there an E in here? I think it's supposed to be end try. Okay, so if that's the case, then that has to be indented. Okay. Repeat with... And then we run until end repeat. If then... By the way, how's the music volume? It should be fine, right? If... Then... And if... If then... And if... Okay, so that's that. And repeat. And if... And repeat. Wait, why isn't it right if? Hang on. If... Then... If then... Invisibles. If folder contains... Then... And then... Oh no, wait, there's a repeat here. That's supposed to be under this. And then that's supposed to be with that. And if. And repeat. And try. So... And try. Try to turn off line break. It might make it a little bit easier. And repeat. Wait, set. Okay. I'll be honest, this probably will be a little bit easier if I can actually evaluate this with a real macOS terminal, which I do not have. Return false, else return true, on error, return false, and try. If set do shell script maybe I do need this after all. Else repeat set if then and if and repeat and if and try. Okay, we're halfway there. It's actually not that bad. I've seen worse. Or PowerShell script, that is. Set without invisible. Repeat with. Then set. And if. And repeat. And try. Okay. On. Oh boy. Okay. Set to a bunch of extension IDs. Set repeat try repeat if repeat set if. That's a lot of nested statements. And if else, oh wait, else if is equal to, then I just realized I'm kind of in the way, aren't I? Yeah, that might be a little bit better. I think it's a little bit smaller. and then end if, and repeat, and if, and repeat, and try, and repeat. Okay. I hope renaming members will be easy of this thing. And try. Do shell script, and then system profile. Tell application finder. What the heck is tell? Set name of result and try. Set path to home folder. Text. Duplicate file. Set. Oh, wait. Is tell its own statement block as well? Oh, it is. Shit. So we need to do. Where's the end tell then? Wow, that's very far down. Okay. Set try and try. Set try. Oop, wrong button. And try. Try. Wait, where's the repeat? God damn it. Wrong button. Here. Repeat with. And repeat. And try. Oh, that's a lot of try statements. Jesus. Okay, so that's still under the... Let's just get rid of all these trailing quotes. Do we know where the end of the try is? No. Set repeat with... Repeat with... Holy shit, that's a lot of repeat. Repeat with... Try. If then... Replacing. Duplicate Duplicate. Why's there a quote here? And then we do and if and try and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and try again. And Safari. OSCP. Duplicate and try. That's a lot of try statements. Holy shit. Set. Repeat. With. If. Then. Set. And tell and try and okay, we're almost done. And there, okay. Do show script. Okay. That's the end statement there. And there's a tell there. Repeat with. Try. Try. and repeat and try. I like this music. You've been listening to UK soundtrack, by the way, in case you're wondering. Set notes count. And if and try. Set. Sorry, what? What's October? It's not October yet. Try. If not, and if delay. Try if that is a very long statement. Holy shit. Jesus. Wait, huh? Set to okay, so it ends here. Set, repeat, try, and repeat, repeat, and repeat. Do shell script. Wait, huh? Do shell script. Ah, here we go. Okay. Oh, man, that took a long time. So, LLM was able to do within like 5 minutes. That really goes to show you how good these LLMs have gotten with these. So let's take a look at what Claude was able to come up with when I asked it to deobfuscate the script. It did it way better than I could in like 5 minutes. It even named all of the functions for me, which is insane. The whole point of that exercise of me wasting 30 minutes though is more or less just telling you how more or less just for me to familiarize myself with AppleScript, but at the same time also just compare and contrast how long it's going to take for me to do it versus for Claude to do it. So let's take a look at the Claude's version. So you can see that it goes to main, AppleScript. What's the difference between AppleScript injection and AppleScript? I assume we want regular AppleScript. Okay, anyways. So this is main. It gets the current user. Username. Write file. So we go to write file. Hello, I bear. On write file. Content and file path. So that's not really username then. I guess that's more like marker than anything. Hang on. Yeah. So it writes the marker to .v/current user. Writes marker October to it gets the hardware info. Can you also add comments next to each line? Okay, maybe not each line, but rough summary on each function and or highlight or lines that are interesting. Perl? No, this is AppleScript. Alright, hardware info. Save password. Right. Validate password. Oh, it'll try to do it'll try to call DSCL. To double check that the the password actually works. Read file, password. What's the PWD file? Hang on. Is PWD file even a thing that exists? by default. Hmm. That's a password. Oh no, it doesn't. Right. So that's something it creates on its own. Right. So it'll come up with a fake authentication prompt that tells you, hey, you need to tell me your password or you can't continue. And you have to enter a valid one, otherwise it's gonna keep asking, I think. And then it tries to take the notes, your data from your notepad app, which is something I've seen Infostealers do as well, which is kind of interesting because normally, you know, for most normal use, or rather for more tech-savvy users, right? They don't really use the Notes app very often, especially like the Sticky Notes app on Windows or the Notes app on macOS. But yeah, apparently people do use it, and apparently it's become something that's that the attacker has come to find interest in, which is interesting. Also, just yoinks the entire cookie file from Safari. Steal Finder data. Let's see what that is. Oh, right. So looks for cookies, accounts. Also takes these target extensions from the documents folder, as well as the keychain file, I assume. And also tries to enumerate the Firefox data and whatnot. What's this diddle command on macOS? Oh, diddle man page. Copies directory hierarchies, creates and extract archive. So it's basically like a zip file or a zip command. On Windows, the new notepad can close tabs. There might be something useful there. Yeah, that's also something else that might be interesting. I haven't seen any Infostealer that actively goes out looking for that though. Okay, so basically it steals data that it finds interesting, and then especially the crypto related stuff, and then just yoinks it and then uploads it to the C2 server, which is the same as the place where we got the initial payload from, which is odyssey.io. We might be able to write a Yara rule for this, but before we do that, there is something else interesting here. That is that it tries to download a secondary payload. So it tries to download the same from the same the C2 for the socks thing, and tries to execute it and just runs it with no QP, so that it doesn't show anything. And when you exit the terminal, it's still going to continue execution. So unfortunately, if you try to go to the domain right now, so we're going to go there right now. Other asset socks. I believe the file is offline. Let's try it with curl as well. Yeah, the server is just not responding right now. That's okay. Because thanks to imposter, that actually know the hash of this file. Oh, is it like xcancel.com? If it would load. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna open up the tweet instead. But yeah, imposter was able to get the payload, and the file has been uploaded. I actually do have the file as well, so let's take a look at that next. But before that, I need a restroom break. I'll be right back. Okay, I have returned. So, let's take a look at that binary. Second here. Oh, I just realized why the syntax highlighting wasn't working when we tried to manually do the deobfuscation. It's because it set the language back to C++ for some reason. That's why the syntax highlighting wasn't working. Okay. So, actually kind of interesting. I open up the binary here, and if I show you the window, give me a second. Sorry. There's a few things that's not working. Give me a second. Okay, so that. No. Make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay. So. Let me make this a little bit. What's that go? Go resim. That's so. This is a Go executable, as you can see from the function list here. Make this bigger for you guys. Also, out of the way. Oh, they didn't really bother obfuscating this, did they? Or like they did, but did a poor job. Instead of using like, it doesn't look like they're using anything like sorry, what's it called? Garble. They just typed random gibberish on their keyboard. I think this needs to be bigger for you guys. Hang on. A little bigger. There we go. Now we do go resim real quick. Do it on this executable. Unrecognized object file or banned file path. Ooh, really? Let me double check the if there's a newer version of Go Resim. Could be entirely possible that the version it could be entirely possible it doesn't support macOS files. Compiled Go bins. Hang on. Where's my copy of Go Resim? Yeah, that's the latest copy. So it doesn't look like yeah, it doesn't look like it recognizes this Go file, which is fine. We can still look through the file strings list. So when I'm looking at a Go executable, the first thing I'm more interested in is their internal path exposure. It tells me like what the project name is. No, but it's just main.go. Usually we will also be able to get a version number from somewhere. And usually this will be a lot easier. You're using Go Resim, but Go Resim basically tells you everything you need to know about a Go executable file from the get-go. But if that fails, you can still look through the strings. Do we know which version of Go this is? I mean, suppose it doesn't matter. I assume it's being used as like a reverse socks proxy. So let's go find this library, which is go-socks5, which would be, I assume, a socks library. Yeah, socks5 reverse proxy server. Now, is there a config? Session accepts. It's like surely it has. Are we acting as a server or a client? I guess server. Hang on. Once again, this would be a lot easier if I had go resim. It's a shame. I assume we have to be acting as a client, right? Because it's not like we're sending any client information back to the server as we did that. But I don't see it. The rest is just standard Golang library. Or maybe it's this, actually. Hang on. I think it's this. Nope, wrong button. Usually the fastest way I do this is to run this through a debugger, but it's not like I have a macOS environment to do this. Do we know where this is allocated? 'Cause I assume that's the actual key we need. Let me bring up CyberChef for this. I don't know where the actual key is. supposed to be... Yeah, that's 19 bytes long. So XOR. My theory is that this is supposed to be the URI, and this is supposed to be the key. Because, like, as you can see, it takes 19 and 7, which is how long this string is. Alternatively, it's the other way around. No. Does that say runtime slice byte string? Yes, it does. That's a default thing. Sorry. That's a base class library from Go runtime. It don't. Oh my god. Blank. Hello, new person in Twitch chat. Take a step back real quick. So V11 plus 1. A5 is the size. I need to make this smaller. What is low by? Is it F? I can't tell, honestly. This would be so much easier if I had a debugger that I can just attach and run. Looking at Go disassembly sucks. Hmm. Does it start from the fourth? That doesn't make any sense. Imagine ice skating anime, everyone's supporting each other's cheering. Funny enough, that's not quite it, but close enough. I don't even remember when this song is used in Nikkei. Do you think I can try this? Well, I mean, it is a Go binary. It shouldn't be specifically dependent on the system. Can I initialize the runtime? Okay, let's see how this goes. If I try to run this as is it gonna let me? Here's a funny little experiment I want to try. So like that part shouldn't oh no, it does call runtime grow slice. Oh, I was thinking it wouldn't call any Go dependent runtime. Shoot. So let's try blob runner. Do I not have blob? Are you kidding me? I don't have blob runner on this machine. Blob runner zip. Thank you. Let's see if my funny idea works. Actually, no, I have to set it to like offset. Following disassembler. So this is this ASM dump dot no mem dot base. This ASM dot cell. That's the offset. this asm.cell. Okay, and that's not gonna execute, of course. So we need to set our EIP to here. Alright, let's see if my stupid idea works. Well, let's hope it doesn't implode. Nope, it imploded, of course. Okay. I'm not surprised. Do you have a blog? Technically. But these days I don't really write on it. Most of my thoughts and discoveries are on my Twitter. Following disassembler. BPHWS. Thank you. Go there. Okay, so like, we just go straight inside. Oh, it just immediately dies. What if we ignore that? Okay, so I feel like that did work, but I don't know where it wrote the results to. Let's head back. Let's say if you put a breakpoint in the game, you just single step, you have to manually step millions of times. How do you avoid that? You don't know what code it will run, where it should stop. You're just exploring. So technically in x64 debug there is a conditional break, but I rarely use it because it's so slow. So usually my approach is to, first of all, if you are able to open it in this assembler, let's try to find the area of interest. And if you can't really find it, then just try to breakpoint at like key APIs that might be interesting to you, and then work you back from the stack trace, or from the call stack. Ignore that. Where's it doing this? 6B78. Like, it's hard to say, hard to give you exact advice if I don't know if there isn't anything to, if I don't know what you're trying to do. Where's it sending the X? Wait. Move that to R12D here. I didn't do much. I just exort the same exact string. Oh, that's kind of annoying. How do I do this without having access to a macOS debugger? Yeah, I can better off just guessing my way through it. Because, disassembly really isn't helping much here. Are you trying CTF? No, this is a real sample. As previously described, this was from a macOS ClickFix campaign. This specific sample is trying to set up a reverse socks connection back to the server. And we're trying to get the config for it. Gotta think outside the box. I'm trying. Did you do that or did I do that? You did? Oh. I'll be honest, I don't even remember how I triggered it most of the time. That was perfect timing. Okay, what happens if you try to initialize the Go runtime on a completely unrelated platform? I'm pretty sure it's just gonna implode, right? So let's try going to there. No, that wouldn't even work. Oh, this sucks. Like it's really stupid because like it's clearly just a simple XOR, but I don't know which part is the key, which part is the ciphertext. Like from what it's saying, sorry, from the code alone, I can guess that this is supposed to be XOR key. This is supposed to be ciphertext. That that doesn't give me anything usable though. Hang on. 2x. A2 is supposed to be target length. You know what? It'll be easier if we just run this in the sandbox. That's another way to deal with this. Hang on a second. That way I can just look at the memory from there. Even though I don't have a macOS environment, that will do. I wonder how difficult it is to set up a macOS environment. On a Windows host. On QEMU, I'm pretty sure it's not. It's like not difficult at all. But like on Windows, still know how this is decoded. But this is supposed to decode to this. I don't understand how. So this is how long? $19. So it is from here. Yeah, because this is 19 bytes as well. What the heck? Hang on. So we know this is supposed to be... Well, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna bother. So we know this sets up a reverse socks proxy over here. What we need to do next is write a YAR rule for this script. I don't know if this stealer has any existing names to it. As far as I know, this might be a new campaign. We also need to write a LC list for this. Right, I reverted the VM already. I need to reinstall the Apple script highlighting. This is gonna be very difficult to read without it. Okay. So what do we call this thing? We also need to compare it to the original. Huh. Hang on. This might already be... documented. Odyssey Stealer? Oh. It is an existing stealer. Okay. Well, that made it a little bit easier to write YARL for. Oh, yeah. So this is an existing campaign. Okay. Well, now we can write YARL for it. And yeah. Looks like it's another paid stealer. Okay. Well, let's write a YARL for it. Can I get Yara language server on here, please? Yara language server, Yara. What is it? Wireless Python or something? Wireless Yara. Okay. How do you spell Odyssey again? Let's take the name from here. Oh, this time it's actually not me. Hello, Alex. Was it Mal Lab? I already checked that. There it is.
Chicken jockey.
Thank you for the chicken jockey redeem. Okay. I'll just copy the template from here. I can never spell Odyssey. How do you spell Odyssey? O-D-Y? S-S-E-Y? Did their campaign mention anything about deploying a SOX proxy? No, it didn't. Oh, okay. I, I really need to redo this VM. It's like missing all my usual tools. Lowercase. A new UUID as well. Abuse.ch. We need a UUID. Can I get a UUID in here? Upload. No, not upload. Oh no, wait. I meant to go RFI. WCH. Log in. No, Yara Hub. That's what I meant. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let me make this a little bit bigger so it's actually a little bit more comfortable for me to read. There we go, that should be big enough. Okay, so that's definitely a string we can use. I'm gonna turn off freaking internet now. Thank you. Oh, right. Why is this music so ominous? Yara. Okay. Obviously, we're not going to do any of them. We can do more than that. I genuinely can't take AppleScript seriously. What is this? What is this? What is this style, man? You know what I would like to play someday on stream? I missed a little bit of Burnout. But the game is full of licensed music. I don't think I can stream that on YouTube. It's like all the rhythm games I like to stream. The hardware profiler thing could be interesting, but meh. Not you. Okay. So realistically, we do something more like 3 of them? Or even more? Is there any other more unique stuff here? Okay, give me a second. I need a restroom break. Be right back. Yeah, this music reminds me of like early 2010s music. Like from games. I mean, it is from a game, you know. attempt. I feel like that's good enough, right? Okay. So let's save this. Why is it in white? Hello, Explorer. Are you okay? Type up the ILC list real quick. Don't really need Excel for this. Actually, you know what? Sure, let's use Excel for this. Then add that. Stocks. Go line based. Reverse. Logs 5 proxy. What's the other LC types we need? It was like domain C2. Oh, C2. Okay. Oh. Thanks for naming all of them C3.
chicken jockey
keyboard, etc., etc. Thanks. Hello, Snowman. Okay. CSV. LCs. Thanks. Yep. Samples. There it goes. Double checking that works. Yep. Okay. And then we'll add a normal one there. And then we'll pop that on Yara Hub. By the way, I should probably... Oh, wait, we missed something. There was that other... C2 wasn't there. Yeah. Let's pop that on. Pop that on there. I'm kind of curious. How has our how's our Yara rule been performing? Oh. Apparently our the myth stealer stuff we wrote from last stream is still getting active matches. Okay. Does this work when I'm not authenticated? Hang on. Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like they're still being matched. Which is interesting. If it will let me. No? Let's try a different browser. I need to fix this typo, man. This is gonna bother me. You're verifying your browser? No, just verifying your browse. Okay, it doesn't want to let me use it. Classic. Oh, never mind, there it is. Oh no, it looks like it's matching a lot of stuff. I assume it's just a blob then. Of some kind. But yeah, like things like this is still being matched. Test Malaysia. The text file containing Malaysia string. That sounds oddly specific. Can I see it? Test something rule. Right. I wonder if there's anyone that's just like adding useless rules onto Yara Hub so it take longer and just add extra junk on there for no reason. I'm not saying there's a rule is that, but I'm just wondering if there's anyone doing that. Because it looks like anyone could just upload. Up. Well, I think Yara Hub imploded. Very cool. Well, great. Oh, never mind, there is. Wow, that's an awful. Why did you upload this? That's an awful rule. Oh no. Guys. So I don't really know what the intended purpose of this rule is supposed to be. But even just that aside, right? Let me tell you why this is not a ideal Yara rule. So first of all, it doesn't seem like it's trying to match any specific thing necessarily. It's just that's like me trying to put the United States as a rule for hunting. You're gonna match a bunch of things. Like weird, okay? Second, no case is gonna run like crap on Yara. because no case is very resource intensive. This is basically like regex in some way, and so like it has to go through every case variance of the string, and the fact that there are two of them, basically you shouldn't use no case unless it's like you absolutely have to. And yeah, based on how many things, how many results there are that match this rule, I don't understand the point of this rule. It's weird. Anyways, so we did deploy the rule we just wrote. Still being validated, but it's up there. It's also on our GitHub now. Yeah. I'll be honest, this was a lot of, this was a nothing burger. I was expecting the stealer to be in the actual binary itself, but no, it's literally just shell script based. Well, Apple script based. So there wasn't a whole lot to look at. That, I thought the final stage was gonna be its own Infostealer as well, but no, it's just a SOX5 proxy connector. That's it. Kinda lame, not gonna lie. I was hoping for something a little bit more fun today. Damn, that sucks. By the way, if there's any sample you want me to look at on stream, feel free to send them my way, because that way I'll actually have interesting stuff to look at. I don't have to go out my way to hunt on abuse.ch. I mean, I suppose we could take a look around there as well. The thing is, on Malware Bazaar, right? Many of these samples are not that interesting either. Okay, sometimes they are. Like, most of the time. Drag the element on the... Dude, I hate these so much. Why does it say any desk? I know that's supposed to be, like, disguised as any desk, but still. How often are there stealers that steal RETools license? Yeah, I've never seen any that do that, because it's not that interesting to look at. And most of the time, researchers don't install their real IDA inside their testing environment. So I've never seen one that does that. I know what this one is referring to. This is referring to a recent tweet that had AnyDesk as the main sample. I didn't look at that one. Well, okay, I did look at that one, but like it wasn't anything too interesting. A lot of people are still attributing to Silver Fox. I don't really know if that's the case. I think my main problem with looking at abuse.ch these days is it gets swarmed with the more or less the same thing. Like Mirai, for example. Mirai is like everywhere on here. It's not that interesting to look at. And then the next one is Steelers. Like, yeah, Luma Steeler, big deal. Not much to look at. Kind of sucks. What else can we do on the stream? Because right now, I feel like we're ending it too early if we're ending it now. It's been barely 2 hours, right? It's been 2 hours and a half, but it feels more like an hour and a half, honestly. Enjoy my geezer license, yeah. So I had an idea was let's reinstall the system together so that I can actually get stuff I wanted. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I wanted to show you guys how my environment is set up. Not a great thing to show. Chat, we need some ideas for future REWorkshop streams. Because right now it's been me relying on people sending in stuff and or finding things I find interesting on Twitter and hope someone uploads it as white. Because once again, remember, I can't look at anything green or above. That's just my policy. And the main thing is the last few streams have been Steelers. I don't really like looking at Steelers because they don't do much. It's just, yeah, they're the most rampant, but like, it's not interesting, I think. What do you guys think? I need to check my old conference video. You know what? I've got some lazy content idea. Oh, that's awful. No, we're not gonna do that. I was thinking we go through some of the we watch some of the conference stuff. So we can all learn together. But I feel like that's React territory. That's just lazy content. I don't like that. As interesting as it might sound. Meant more if they mentioned something interesting. Yeah, I know. But that just made me think of that extra idea. The only content creator I can think of that makes videos that I think that somewhat works to a general audience somehow is John Hammond's video. So I like earlier this month, I mentioned something on Twitter that went along something like, I don't know if I can make anything interesting out of these malware as streams or videos because it's always the same thing. That makes it very difficult to make it entertaining and interesting to me and the viewers. Mostly me, really. And like, if it's always the same thing, I don't really know if there's much I can educate on for the viewers. Um, And then sometimes there's also the problem of me stumbling upon a sample that's like basically impossible to analyze on stream. Like all the obfuscated ones. Let me think. So there's this other person. There's this other YouTuber I've seen of on YouTube. They also follow me on Twitter. Goes by Eric Parker. I will send one of their videos on the Myth Stealer campaign that I did a few weeks that I did that last month. They made a video shortly after talking about it. And it got so many views. It's like he's doing anything different, really. It's more or less just different marketing and the packaging of it as both thumbnail and titles. My point is, I don't know what interests viewers. Alternatively, we could drop REWorkshop until there's something interesting that shows up again, and we get back to the more educational type of content, which is, if I dare mention the name, Malware Deconstructed, the series that we did one episode of. He boosted his channel a little bit by doing game fixing videos with some basic stuff. Yeah. So my view when it comes to this has always been, how do I make this entertaining for people to watch? And I have tried making a few videos before. I actually unlisted a few of them since then, because just didn't feel like the narrative was quite right or wasn't great, so I ended up unlisting some of them. So here, let me show you guys. I'm gonna revert. I'm gonna open up YouTube real quick. Or Brave. Sure, whatever. Why is that image still there? Yeah, here. What's that I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. That person that does Animal Crossing videos. Yeah, this person. I like their
Today,
way.
let's talk about.
I like their way of presenting, the more technical side of Animal Crossing. Like, this is the type of content ideally I'm aiming for if I do make a video, where it's like, very cool, very interesting stuff, but also like very bite-sized. Like, for example, this.
In my last video detailing Animal Crossing promotional events, I talked about an item so rare that I have my goal with custom data and have it be read by a vanilla console, we should have a solid understanding on how exactly a controller pack works. Luckily, the Nintendo 64 is extremely well understood, and official programming documentation is readily available online. So, researching the N64's official specs, it turns out every controller pack is 256 kilobits or 32 kilobytes
So
in
like
size.
you kind of get
official
what I'm
controller packs
talking about,
are
right?
always
Like,
32 kilobytes.
it's like very technical stuff,
At least not in North
but
America.
like
Since 1 kilobyte is actually 1024 bytes, our controller pack has a total size of 32,000.
understandable enough to like the average people, or like I wouldn't say average people, but like slightly more technical savvy people. At the same time, though, so it's like I haven't tried before. The last time I tried, it was with the CrowdStrike stuff. But I think my main problem with making videos is that what ends up happening is I'll be very passionate about what I want to talk about at first, and I'll record it. I'll write the script. I'll record it, and when I'm actually doing the video editing, I'll be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like the first half of it, or the 1/3 of it, I'm like, oh man, I have some ideas as for how I want the videos to turn out. But like, the more I do editing, the more I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want to continue doing this. It just ends up kind of half-assed, kind of. I think the main problem is as I grow along, I stopped enjoying video editing. These days I would prefer to if I just send it off to an editor. At the same time, I don't know about you guys, I don't have the money to pay an editor. Especially alongside my other projects. Just a reminder, I still do cover work on the side, and I still need to commission art and music video producers. Despite working, I assume you meant through Intel, not at Intel. If I worked at Intel, I'd be getting a completely different type of salary, or possibly laid off. It's not like Threadintel. So Threadintel makes money, right? But there's the reality that I live in Taiwan. Taiwan wages doesn't really compare to Threadintel analysts in the States or anything like that. It's not like I make a whole lot, and the wage, the rate of paying these editors and producers are still the same across the globe, even though you're getting way less than them. The best would be find a friend or find someone who's starting and could take a share of video earnings. There's also the fact that I'm not monetized on YouTube. Remember, all the content I make, I barely make a single dime off of it. Like, the most money I get out of doing these is Twitch income from subs and ads, and I get like $50 every 4 months or something. And you know, that also goes back to the whole music video. Sorry, my cover side of things as well. When I release a new MV, where I release a new cover, I don't earn a single dime back from it because A, they're copyright work. B, it's not like they get a whole lot of views. Yeah. I think editing is most fun part of it all, especially having content. Choose what part to include. Like you have superpower, you're actually making the video happen. So that is correct. I enjoy the creative process of a video. However, what I don't enjoy is having to actually manually do that and having to wrangle with the video editor. I jumped between video editors so many times already. Earlier on, I was on Vegas, right? And Vegas kept crashing. You know, Vegas was slow, etc., etc. That was like early 2010s. Eventually, I moved on to Premiere in late 2010s. Premiere's okay, but like every time it's been like 5 years or more since I started using it until I stopped. Premiere has its own set of issues as well. Nonsensical keyboard shortcuts, freezing, Adobe, etc., etc. Then I moved on to Resolve. Resolve is great, actually. I still think Resolve is my most preferred video editor right now. But Resolve has its own sets of issues as well. Namely, that it also freezes sometimes, but like it's not as bad as Premiere. I think my main problem with Resolve is I haven't used it. I've used it quite enough already, but like not enough to the point where I feel like I'm 100% comfortable with it. My point is, half the time it's like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? Etc. 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 Just like the whole process just makes me feel like, you know, I'd rather be doing something else right now. Like compare that to making videos. It's like, sorry, compare that to making covers. I vastly enjoy the creative process of making covers and music and whatnot compared to making a video. Like, okay, so for the CrowdStrike video, I enjoyed making that one. The problem is I can't really justify working so long for a video of like around 10 minutes or something. It becomes very arduous and just use effects in your video, just cutting a movie. So some level of effects, but like, okay, that's another thing I don't like about Resolve. I don't like the keyframe system in Resolve. It's very cumbersome. It's like hidden behind so many buttons. I always can't get it to do the things I wanted to do. But yes, I do some level of effects, quote unquote, and animation in there, but I think that's also what makes it arduous. It's just not something I want to do. Like, that's why I'm just like, oh, I'd rather just hand this off to someone more experienced. I enjoy seeing the another thing I want to talk about for making videos is sometimes I'll just like be like, you know what? I don't like how it looks. It's got that stank to it. Like compare that to if I were just pay pit editor, right? Last time I remember we have a shorts channel that I haven't used in a long while. All the videos on there was edited by my editor back then, which I did hire one before. I vastly enjoyed the stuff they made compared to stuff I made. He seems too self-critical. Yeah, that's a thing I'm known to do, really. So what ends up happening with a lot of things I do is that I'll be like, oh, that's not gonna work out. I'm not gonna do it. So like I'll have all these ideas, and I'll either not do it or I'll do it, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, this sucks. I'm not gonna continue anymore. People watch anything? Yeah, I know. I'm not entirely sure where I want to take there's also the fact that I don't really know where I want to take the direction of the channel to. What type of content do I want to make? Like, I vaguely know it's already gonna be RE related, but like, what's gonna be interesting enough that just, like, for example, right? I'm not gonna make a video on process hollowing or something like that. How do you make that entertaining? And like, there's already billions of people that have already done something like that. My biggest problem is packaging it on YouTube. Sorry, packaging it for a more general audience. Do opening PO box and reacting to Thor's tweets. Oh, if I only had some of those. Like, of course, if we're just talking streaming in general, I'm still gonna continue doing gaming and do RE stuff. I'm mostly just thinking about, for these RE streams, what's interesting to talk about, and whether or not if I can make any of them into a video. I'm not too worried about the general content, or rather streamed content otherwise. Like, I'm perfectly content with just doing gaming on the weekdays and RE on the weekends. Making a demo of NT cheat and showing it how it works. You're giving me too much credit. I don't know how to write things. The way so those that write malware anti-cheat, malware comma anti-cheats comma any defensive type of system or any software in general, you tend to have a very different viewpoint from those that are doing the reverse engineering, and vice versa as well. I may be able to reverse engineer. That doesn't mean I can write anything. There's also the problem of, like, okay, obviously every day, okay, not, I won't say like every day, but like every few days, right? When I'm at work, I come across interesting samples. The problem is I can't talk about them. Once again, those are considered green or above. I cannot, in public, talk about white samples. Green or above samples, as that would be a conflict of interest, and I may get in trouble with my employer if I do. RE streams into videos or videos making reference and analogies? Okay, so like, realistically, some of these REWorkshop streams can be made into videos. I just haven't bothered. Again, back to the whole video editing things. Like, alright. The better way for me to incorporate REWorkshop into a video is to actually just write a whole script for it, and then maybe at best feature a few clips from our stream, but that's about it. super cut the stream into a condensed 10-minute video. So that will be a perfect job for a clipper. And ideally, if I'm gonna do that, I'd hire a clipper to do that. Some old game REs could be interesting, but it's gray area. That's another thing, right? I'd be like, okay, of those RE things, first of all, what exactly am I doing? Am I looking to rebuild something? Am I looking to fix something? If I'm just looking to fix something, then chances are someone else has already done it. And I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about games in terms of how they work. Or external things like DRM, but that's very great. So like, the last time I did something like that was for Project Diva, right? And that was at the beginning of when Mega Mix Plus was just released on Steam, and we were actually working. I was working with a group of modders to fix the game, quote unquote, because the game has the nouveau and made things a little bit more difficult. My point is, we did something like that before, but like that was about it. And I also I was just there to help. It's not like I was the main person doing things. There was technically an REWorkshop episode where we did that. Remember that REWorkshop episode where we worked on fitness boxing, Miku. We were trying to figure out how the save system works. And like the first episode of REWorkshop was also on How World. So we did do something like that before. It's not like we haven't done that before. We used a Wii. Yeah, I did play on the Wii for a little bit. So I already know what I'm gonna do for the first malware related stuff after 2.0. We're gonna finally do episode 2 of Malware Deconstructed because I've kind of the script has already been written for a long time ago and I just never got around to it. We'll do that. My problem is, what will we do after that? Back to REWorkshop, right? I think the current problem I have with REWorkshop is I need materials. I need good materials to work on to stream. My goal of REWorkshop has always been, okay, the video things aside, right? REWorkshop's goal has always been, I'm gonna show you guys how to reverse engineer things, and I'm gonna show you guys how this and that is done and why the things are the way they are. We're up to, was it like episode 18 today? I feel like I've shown a decent amount already. Back to the whole thing with I feel like everything is the same type of thing. Like I can only show you so many times what a process hollowing is, or how this injection technique works, or something, right? Alternatively, we can go back and get more interesting samples. Doesn't have to be new. I'll show you guys some more interesting samples. Because right now, the way REWorkshop has been operating for the last few months is that we look at new stuff. We look at what's currently being uploaded. And I feel like that's not working out in terms of making it entertaining. So what we can do is we can go back and look at earlier stuff. How often do you see overlap instruction in malware? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by overlap instructions. Like overlap code? Shared library? Name it making code caves. Everyone's been memeing about it. Oh, that's what you mean. If you read it from offset 2 instead of offset 1, it's different instructions. Yeah, that's basically anti-disassembly. Or, yeah, anti-analysis. So, depends on what you mean by often. And in what context. I wouldn't say it's a frequent occurrence. But it's certainly something that will show up every now and then. More than 1 to 20. Again, it kind of depends on what type of thing I'm looking at. Am I looking at APT? Am I looking at generic cyber criminal stealer type deal? I would say it's more like 1 in 40 or 50. Someone's trying to make you install something to try to make code look harmless. The Trojan Alliance installer, yeah. That's pretty common. I mean, that's just social engineering in general, really. Among that category, is it more common to have overlap instructions? Not really. I don't. It's not. Like the two concepts are not related with each other. And like they don't necessarily appear very commonly with each other. It's not like anti-analysis is more common in one sample or another. It also depends on the group's TTP. Most groups just don't bother with anti-analysis. There are some that do, like Mustang Panda. How do you counter their anti-analysis? Is it possible they self-modify so much and make static analysis kind of impossible, so you have to run it? Yes, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. It's always possible to some degree, but like the easiest way is tend to just run it and then breakpoint at places that you find interesting, and or use a tracer like pin tracer. Sorry, tiny tracer. Usually with things like those, you sometimes it's patchable. Sometimes it is possible to patch the bytes so that it's a little bit easier to read. Alternatively, there are also emulation approach. Why would you not just run it every time it's fat if it's easier? So it's when I do analysis, it's like it's always a mix of dynamic and static. I usually open it up and I usually do static first and then I do dynamic. If static analysis is not feasible, then I'll do dynamic and then work my way back. It's not like, oh, after I do dynamic analysis, I'm not gonna go back to do static. No, it's usually like me switching back and forth. What if you went over a book? I mean, that's kind of what we do already with Windows internal streams. What should we do? I'm still thinking every other week, really. By the way, Windows internals, very helpful. Last time we read on chapter 3 on process creation, that ended up being somewhat helpful because I didn't know what the creation stage for the processes for create process is. So that ended up being somewhat helpful, actually, like the week after I read that. Do you read white papers and dissertations to keep your knowledge sharp? Yes and no. I don't really go out of my way to look for white papers to read. It's mostly because I don't really feel like spending my free time on those. But if I'm at work, then yes. If there's any, usually every other day, if there's a new report, there's a new sample, there's a new paper, there's a new report that's relevant to what we do at work, then I'll usually read it. For example, write-ups from Trend Micro, Secure List, Kaspersky, ESET, We Live Security, etc. Then I'll read those. But white papers, not really. Unless it's relevant to the sample I'm looking at, etc. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Usually it's just too much hassle, and pre-modification obfuscation per object is similarly efficient, less troublesome. Sorry, usually what ends up happening these days, right, for obfuscated code, is they'll take they'll do an LLVM based approach, is the most common one these days if you just don't want to think about it. What you end up having is something that looks like yeah, what usually end up happening is something like this, so that it makes things a little bit harder to read. And that's like the most basic approach, though. There are some other approaches you can do. Now, it is possible to still detect obfuscated code, even as much SMC as there might be, because like what ends up happening, even for self-modifying code, right? The end product that's being executed in memory is still the same. There's always going to be some traces of the memory that contains instructions that needs to execute to do what it wants to do. So if you write a good enough YAR rule, you can still very easily write a detection rule for it. Like, for example, right? Mustang Panda. Their mini plug or holder. It started showing up around like late 2021. And that was when they started using LLVM for their samples. And the rule I wrote back then still works very well because some aspects of the obfuscated binary still contains code that is very identifiable and or always stay the same across the binaries. So more like self-modifying code, you have the obfuscation engine that stay pretty much the same. So usually it's like a combination. Sometimes these days we see a combination of both, where it's like they have an obfuscation, a header-based obfuscation macro, and then they'll send it to LLVM, which makes it basically means that it's obfuscate twice. That makes it a little bit more annoying to look at. But once again, it's not impossible. Now there are some more advanced approaches. Some better approaches would be to patch it so that I don't really know how exactly it works in their compiler, but like the way some might do this is instead of just standard control flow obfuscation and whatnot, they'll add like junk patterns, junk bytes in between calls, so that your usual disassemblers would freak out when it sees it. Alternatively, there are some other techniques like make it so that every address is random. Make it so that every address call is like a pre-calculated address, and then you make it calculate at runtime so that the actual address isn't actually embedded in the disassembly, but like it has to be calculated at runtime to find the address, for example, something like this. This is something we're going to talk about in my talk in September, by the way. Google basically has a very high-level overview of this. Their post is thankfully relatively short for this, just so we have something to talk about for our September talk. You do talks in VTuber form? Yeah, 50-50. So I did it once, right? I actually did it once for my talk at GSEC in 2022, 2023. I forgot. I think it was 2022. Never again. It's like so cringe. Not doing that again. I do my talks in person. So there is a chance you're gonna see me. You can see my talk at the upcoming Virus Bulletin 2025. Sorry, not my talk, our talk, because it's me and my colleague. And he's the main presenter, I'm the co-presenter. Where is it again? Program? Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. If you want to see my talk, Not that you'll probably be getting a ticket for it because the ticket for this is stupid expensive. But yeah, our talk is on later this year. Basically the same topic that Google talked about. I'm still mildly upset by Google, by the way. Our what was it? Our embargo was lifted around May, early May, and then Google released their blog post a week after our embargo was lifted. I don't know if it's a coincidence that they saw it or they were already gonna publish it anyways. But yeah. Anyways, I don't know if the VB talks are gonna be published as VODs later on. I'm not entirely sure, but our paper release will be public. It'll be released alongside. Well, I assume after the conference. At the very least, you can read our paper, I believe. Depends if they did in the past. I'll be honest. It's probably better that they don't. I don't like. So it's not impossible to find conferences with me on the stage on YouTube. Okay, small question. Would presenting security stuff be less awkward if it was done at some anime con rather than security con? I'll be honest. As my VTuber avatar, sure, anime will be fun. Why do you say you might not know how to write a game if you don't have a bachelor? I never said anything about writing a game. I was more so talking about on writing anti-malware. Kernel, anti-cheat stuff. Also, having a bachelor doesn't matter. Just a reminder, guys. My bachelor's degrees is for an English degree. I did not graduate for any comp sci related stuff. Maybe that's a way to promote yourself. Only if. Yeah. Oh boy, I can't wait for September. There's gonna be so much. Actually, there's gonna be so much crap, so much stuff going on next month, and then, after that. How come we do conference now on this instead of English? I work a threat intel. I've been working at a threat intel job for like 5 years now. It's my job to look at malware. Like conferences, it's just something I do. How did you get that job? Well, I mean, when I was in uni, I was already set on getting. So let's backtrack a little bit, right? Why did I get into an English major in the first place? That's because my math degree sucks. I could not get into a comp sci major if I wanted to. I just did not pass the minimum requirements for the grade. Math sucks. I still stand by that. So I ended up getting in an English degree. And during uni, that was when I was introduced to CTF. We had a CTF club. And from then on, I just kept attending conferences as a visitor, as an attendee. I was visiting HitCon yearly. And eventually I'm like, I mean, even before CTF, right? I already knew I wasn't gonna do like a teacher. I wasn't gonna be a teacher or anything in English or something like that. Like that could be my backup plan. It still kind of is. But I can't be a teacher because I don't have the license for it. But like, I can at the very least work at a cram school if it actually came down to it. But I already knew I wasn't interested in teaching English, so like that already wasn't in my career path. So anyways, after attending all of those, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look for an infosec related job. So I had a very informal interview with my first with the first company that I talked to. They were just like, yeah, no, I think you don't know enough about this type of stuff. So that quote unquote interview didn't really go anywhere. And it was like really informal anyways. It's not like they were just like, oh, we can have a little sit down and talk about things. It wasn't like a proper interview. But the actual first one where I actually got a first interview at was at my current company. And they were just like, I was like, yeah, I know malware. Here's my previous analysis I've done on Emotet. And then they're like, yeah, okay. How about we give you a little sample for you to test your knowledge on? I'll be honest, I don't even remember which sample they sent me, honestly. And yeah, I was able to write a report on it, and got past that because I already knew how to look at malware, kinda. I'll be honest though, at the beginning of the job, I still barely knew how to operate IDA. I'm not huge on, like, these days I'm pretty decent at IDA. But like when I first entered the job, I knew how to vaguely use IDA, but like not very good at it. But these days I'm good enough to the point where I can just write out Python scripts and help with a few things, write scripts that help with my daily work. But yeah, I did decently well, and that's where I am today. I still enjoy my job. That said, it's starting to feel a little samey in the last 5 years. I'm not entirely sure how much longer I'll be doing the same job. Even if I do quit, it'll probably still be in the infosec field, honestly. Like, just maybe I'll just go to a different division. Maybe not even this. Not necessarily gonna move to a different company or anything like that. I'm not sure. But like, yeah, it's been all right. I have one story related to my uni math. I was always one of you who tried to pay attention to others. Tried to pay attention so others could slack off a little. And one day I was so tired, he looked at me and said, Mister, looks like you had a bad night. Don't worry, you can take a nap today. Wow. So I did, it's not like I didn't entirely do anything comp sci related when I was in uni. Like outside of the CTF stuff, right? I did take some elective courses from the comp sci department. One of them was operating systems. Basically, it was more like teaching you how assembly worked, and it's not like they were teaching you x86 instruction or anything like that. They were like doing like faux It was like it was like sick or something. SIC. Some type of assembly language that's meant for education. Yeah, never. I mean, that was not a good time. It was I pretty much failed almost all of the tests because some of them required math, and my brain just could not comprehend it. I ended up passing though, but like it was not fun. I still enjoyed my English degree. Sorry, I still enjoyed my time um at the English department though. It was a good time, and I still made a decent amount of friends from it as well. Some who I still talk to today. So it's not like, I don't know about you guys, but it's not like the degree I have is like particularly prestigious or anything, but it's fine enough for me to land a job. And the more I'm in this industry, and the more I'm like, who cares what degree you have, man? As long as you can do, you have what it takes to do the thing that we're asking you to do. Which is thankfully how my recruiter viewed it. They thought, I guess my degree was somehow interesting enough for them to be like, you know what? Sure, let's see what they can do. I wouldn't say degree doesn't matter, but like, okay, like ethically speaking, I don't think degree matters, but some companies will still look at degrees. Don't know why. I mean, I know why, but like, you know, to me that doesn't really mean anything. You could have like a degree at a very prestigious school and still suck at what I'm asking you to do. So, but then again, I'm not a recruiter, right? It's not like I'm the one interviewing these guys. Studies can still be beneficial if you want to learn new stuff or meet people passionate for what you want to do. Yeah, so it's kind of why I still enjoy studying stuff sometimes. Like, I still I don't know about you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually really enjoy reading through Windows internals. It's a good book, and that's a good refresher on some of the things that I may have learned or never really figured out. Realistically, right? If reading the thing is a little bit more accessible, like, I'll be honest, if I had a paperback copy of Windows internals, I'd break it out every now and then to read it. Like, yeah, I have the digital copy, but like, physical copy is just so much better, man. If I want to like take a look at very specific things and keep track of where I was and doing highlights and whatnot. Like, reading on computer screen is it feels a little more of a hassle. I have first gen Kindle that I can technically read these on, but again, it feels like a hassle. I was looking into my courses on cybersecurity offered by Google. Most of the people there don't have degrees in comp sci. Yeah. I feel like a lot of these, I don't know about, I'll be honest, I don't know how educated on cybersecurity in general are these days, especially given that some Zoomers have never touched a computer or Gen Alpha. Oh, Gen Alpha surely has touched a computer, right? like there was that tweet from a few weeks ago where it's like, or someone on Twitter was like saying, "Oh, malware isn't a thing these days. It's not a big concern." And that was spoken by some Zoomer that had never touched a computer or something. And of course, people called him out on it, and I was like, "What were you talking about? What?" I mean, so I feel like cybersecurity illiteracy is still a thing, because like we still get clients that willingly download malware, or unknowingly but willingly download malware, because they thought it was safe. Like, for example, right? Someone will look up, let's say, AnyDesk, right? And then they'll find, for some reason, they'll skip the first link and then go to the second or third link, and then the second or third link just so happens to be malware. And even though the website isn't an exact one-to-one to the official website, there's like, nah, this looks safe. I'm gonna download it and run it. But at the same time, it's like, can you blame them? They don't know what a malware. They don't know that's a malware. Isn't it like a big brick? I tried to read the book, the other book the other day, and size was the biggest problem. Yeah. So Windows internals is heavy. It's like, it's got 2 parts, and the first part is like 700 pages or something, 750, I think. Yeah. I still, even if it's big, I still feel like it'd be easier to just open it and read it, compared to, and more so, it's less so that it's like easier to take notes on. Like, I can highlight it if I wanted to. Highlighting on a PDF just feels awful. Like, I can't put a book, like with a physical bookmark, and then like marking it, I know it's gonna be there. I'm not concerned about a PDF not recognizing, or basically there's a bunch of problems when it comes to interacting with PDFs in general. For security, I don't want to say here. Sometimes by accident I attach my key. So in Proton, you can actually change it so that it doesn't do that. You can change it so that it doesn't send public key by default. I've had that happen before, where it's like, what is this file you sent? I can't open it. I'm like, don't worry about it. And then they reply again, like, I still can't open it. You know, don't worry about it. And they stopped. Old-fashioned when it comes to books. I mean, kinda. Like, I still buy books. Well, not necessarily like normal books, but like, you know, art books, all that kind of stuff. I still buy physical sometimes. I may not read it all the time. I might read it once and be like, yeah, that's good. But I feel the thing is, Windows internals is more like a utility book, right? If you want to find out if today you have a question about a certain thing, you can just flip it open and then be like, there it is. Although, searchability is definitely easier for PDFs, though. Like, if I want to look for a specific topic, searching on PDF is definitely easier. There's actually, I do like having some things are just better physical. Like, so I had a talk with my therapist before, or it's like if I want to keep being reminded of something, the best approach is just have it so that you're constantly reminded by it. So what I did around that time was that I would put sticky notes on my monitors, or like not necessarily on the screen, but like at the bezel. I put them there so I'd be reminded of what exactly is coming up and what exactly isn't. Because like with notifications, right? Especially if you put on a calendar app or something, it's like one swipe away and the notification is gone. The act of writing it helps me remember. Yeah. I'll be honest, I would love to have like a Surface Go type of device where I can do some physical writing. I think I'd be willing to more use a PDF more actually. But at the same time, it's like so bulky, man. Like I'll be honest, sometimes taking the book physically might be less bulky than the type of device. So like I do have like a closely I don't have my camera set up. I can't show you guys. I would love to show you guys the laptop collection I have. One of the laptops I have, it's actually really neat. It's a Panasonic one. Is it this? Yeah, it's this one. I got this from the bin, and it's like super neat. This. Oh. Download. Okay, can we have a higher resolution image? Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah. So I found this from the dumps actually. It's this Panasonic's CFC1, and I would really like to repair it. So like it's okay, there's technically nothing wrong with it, it's just the battery's dead. I would like to get the batteries replaced, but I could not find a good place to source the battery from. But like, it's very neat in the fact that it has the little stylus at the bottom you can just take out, and it's basically a 2-in-1, so you can like spin the screen around so that you can flip it over so it becomes like a portable tablet kind of deal. It looks super bulky, but I really like it. Yeah, it's got some very old school ports as well, like VGA, PCM, CIA. I would love to I would love to use this at like a con or something when I need to write something down. Yeah, the main problem with this though, battery doesn't work. So I can't really feasibly use this elsewhere. Also, what's really cool is that it actually has 2 battery compartments. So like underneath here, it's like 1 battery here, 1 battery here, and then you have 2 batteries if you want to. It's like 6,600 milliamp hour. So like pretty big actually. And you run the Linux on it. So I don't think some of the features work on Linux. I don't even know if the touch screen works on Linux actually. And yeah, I think it's a capacitive, or I don't remember if it's capacitive or pressure sensitive type of touchscreen. But anyways, yeah, I think I would eventually really like to two-in-one type of device where I can just write, and take notes with it. The closest thing would probably be an iPad. I actually thought about getting an iPad a few times, but I never ended up doing it. Because I don't know, guys. I don't like how iPad feels and looks. Like, I don't like iOS. I think that's the main thing. Too much money. So like, money isn't even that big of a deal. If it's good, sure, whatever. Like, I'm sure I could get a second-hand iPad or something. Ever spent on comms? Yeah. Remember minimal service for that reason. I think they aim for a Chromebook experience because of Windows S. Yeah. I think a Surface Go would be like perfect. I don't know if they still make these. Yeah, it's like this. But I think it runs like Pentium or something. They still make these. I guess they do. What even is the spec of this thing? View tech specs. Oh yeah, see, it's running one of these super low powered Intel chips, like N200. I think that's basically a Pentium. So I think I would really like a good Surface. So like, before I actually briefly bought a secondhand Surface 4, it actually felt really nice. The problem is Surface Pro 4 was known for a screen defect, and yeah, that did end up happening, so I did return the product. And thankfully, I bought at a place where returning is possible for secondhand. Yeah, my main problem with I would really like someone else to make a Surface-like device. The build quality is very good on those. My main problem with those is it's usually very locked down. They don't want you to run Linux or anything else on it or something. Like, you can, but like, not the most free computer. Like, the closest thing that would be I think the closest thing would be like Framework 12. But if I'm gonna get for Framework, I'm really just gonna get a Framework 13. But yeah, Framework 12 is like a 2-in-1 as well. The problem is, I'm not sure if the build quality is cheaper though. I think it's plastic, right? Yeah, mostly plastic. I think this thing is aimed more towards student. I personally don't like plastic builds. I would really like a Framework 13 though. I still want to get one at some point, but I just have not been able to cough up enough money for it. I'm still on my 2018 XPS 13, guys. So if I don't bring any storage, don't bring any RAM, no OS, black bezel, Translucent black. Oh, I can do translucent. No, I'm just gonna do black. US English. No power adapter. Huh. How much would that be? That'd be like 50,000 Newton dollar. It's like $1,600. 17. It's not that bad, but like, that's still money. I would have really liked to upgrade away from my current laptop. Like my 2018 laptop, it still hangs in there. It's still doing fine. The problem is you can really start to feel its age after using it for a little while. Like, I'm honest, lightweight of it as a system, it could be. Oh, okay, maybe that's not entirely true because it runs KDE, but like it runs Arch. But browsing, yeah, even web browsing is starting to struggle. It's like I'm running on 8th gen Intel i7 or something. Bought a label machine for the contract job. It needs AAA batteries. You should be able to find AAA batteries, no? Shouldn't be that hard to find. Okay, I'm sorry. I think we're drifting off topic for a little bit now. I need to go to the store tomorrow or Sunday. Yeah, I mean, is it gonna be hard? By the way, let's see if there's anyone we can raid. Refresh. No, but I wish I read the box and bought the berries when I bought it. Yeah. Oof. Okay, I think I'll send you guys to August. Didn't read the box till now. I almost didn't check until Monday. Oh yeah, I should definitely check after you get something, especially if you're gonna use it soon. Holy shit, they've been streaming for 6 hours. Okay. I'll send you guys over to August. Ooh, there are 9 viewers here. Hello. Alright, I'll see you guys. Actually, before I rate, quick notice. I'm gonna be taking next week off. I might do a stream at the weekend. No promises. Yeah. Let me explain why. I have a minute before the raid starts. So I have 2.0 ready. So I need to start prepping for all the related stuff, like the promo, the teaser, etc., etc. I'm gonna need to work on those on top of me just resting up a little bit. So that's why I'm gonna be taking the next week off. I don't know exactly. We might stream again before even 2.0 happens. Because like, yeah, obviously we won't be like immediately streaming right away with it. And there are some other things I need fixing. Anyways, yeah. I'll see you guys either later next weekend or the week after. Okay. Have fun. August, she's playing Premier right now. Go say hi.